Alright, I told you all about waylon lolotai and his violence. I told you about Boulder Police Department and their history of doing this to the homeless males especially. There's extra stuff that makes it extra okay for police. I want you to, if you can see the live chat, some of you, I guess, aren't able to, but those of you who can, please watch that link there. That's from Concerned Citizens in Boulder. God, I'm out of tobaccos. Yeah, cigarettes are bad for me. Okay. I'm glad we recognize that and established that. You know, quitting smoking would probably be easier under a less stressful situation. Matter of fact, I had a couple of my doctors say, well, if you're under that much stress, you probably shouldn't quit cold turkey. Of course, most of the doctors, pretty much everything that I said, they blamed on either marijuana or tobacco. I'm being assaulted. That must be because of marijuana. Whoa, hold on a second. Okay, well, no, fuck you. Your math is fucking screwed. If it doesn't fit your bias, it fits your hatred. If it doesn't hate the people that you hate, then it must not be true, right? I stand up for all of the victims, regardless of color, regardless of gender. A lot of people have typed shit at me saying, hey, you're sexist, you're sexist. Like, you know what? Equality ain't sexism. If I'm treating you the way you treat me, then you, the son of a bitch, needs to quit bitching. Bunch of alcoholics, they can't even get off their ass to do something for themselves unless it's get another fucking beer or another bottle of fucking Crown. Cammy Jepson here in town. She pulled a fucking stupid, which is alright with me. Every single one of her employees is fucking bitched at me about her. Every single one. Cammy says, don't record us. Cammy, at this point, there's only 3 Jepsons that I am interested in recording. And those Jepsons already recorded most of what I needed out of them. Like Jace. That's Cammy's nephew. You're damn right I'm going to call him a coward. Pretty much every time that I see him anymore, he's hiding behind another Jepson. Fuck you, Jace. You're a goddamn coward, and that is not my fault. You and your cush little bullshit. I love you, Jace. I've known you since before you were born. You know, I remember talking to your mom's tummy while you were in there. Then, of course, I can't wait till he turns 18. I can drop his name like a goddamn bomb. His name is what? Of course, I also don't want to drop his name right now because he is not yet 18. Although he has commented on this channel. Why wouldn't he? I told the truth about his mom and he didn't fucking like it, but you know what? I've seen him on multiple occasions since then, since he was all pissed off and typing that fucked up shit at me. He come into the house one day over there, and he's got this crossbow, and I bought this crossbow over at Nettie's Treasures. I bought that crossbow for a reason. I bought it because it's easier to get myself some rabbits with that damn crossbow than it is with a regular bow, given my back is as fucked up as it is. But he wanted it. I told him as long as it was alright with his mom. And yes, by that point, of course, his mom is fucking pissed off at me. She's running around spreading rumors and fucking talking shit. Fuck it. You know, I don't blame him for the fact that his mother is a meth addict. That is not his fault. She's been doing meth since before he was born. That is not his fault. Goddamn, he's fucking tall for his age, though. I'm pretty sure he's a few inches taller than his dad. But y'all, I told you about this guy, waylon lolotai, and you didn't want to believe me, and here we are 3 years later, many brutalities later. You tell me I gotta remain calm at all times. Meanwhile, the people that I am supposed to go to for help are betraying my trust. And they're getting away with it because I have to go in by myself. I don't have a family. Now you listen to Jace, Chapel Witness. That's the name of one of my videos. That's Jace Jeffson. Let's see. J. Oh, yeah. Jace. Right here. Jace, Chapel Witness. Mind you, at the time, I'm in Wyoming while I'm having this conversation with Jace. Having a severe fucking panic attack, trying to get somebody to fucking listen instead of make excuses or blow me off with their pretty fucking words. It would be nice if those pretty goddamn words did any good. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Man. My guilt was assumed. And I was never allowed to defend myself because of the term mentally ill. And I get told that it's my fault that you're too much of a coward to come forward. It's my fault that you lied. It's all my fault. It must be. But here's Jace, Chapel Witness. Blam, we got a second one up there. Let's look up Clearview. Now we can post up some of the stuff that I've said or some of the conversations about that place. By the way, some of the Jeffson family have been in Clearview. Clearview, as many of you know, got shut down around the same time that waylon lolotai was allowed to walk free for his crimes again. This was the officer that all of these officers thought that it would be okay to cover for this officer, to hide his name from me, to gang up on me, at least 15-on-1, thinking it was fucking hilarious in the Boulder County Jail. But it's fine because you don't give a fuck. It's fine because your spoiled ass has a family who cares. But also, just because your family cares doesn't mean they're doing the right thing. Jace, or Jackie's son even. See, there's one right there. Jackie's son is going to stick up for Jackie. even if she's methed out of her goddamn gourd. See, that's how the world really works. You tell us that women have no rights. Women don't have equality. Women are treated less than humans, or less like humans than men. And I'm going, this is not fucking true. Most of the men I know are owned. They are the possession of their girlfriend or wife. You either do as she says, or you're on your fucking own. She will ditch your ass and go give somebody else that slobbering ass blowjob that you love so much. So much that you treat her like shit because she doesn't give you the blowjob. Right? Miss Jerry, when she left Tom Paine, her claim was that it was over a blowjob. She didn't want to give him a blowjob, so he wouldn't let her leave the house. I knew who Miss Jerry was before that. Brandon Jepson used to babysit for her. Well, actually, I guess technically, Brandon babysat for um, Tom's ex, not for Miss Jerry. And it's funny because Tom was married to Miss Jerry's cousin. So Miss Jerry's mom used to make fun of her because she was going out with Tom. She's like, "You're fucking your cousin." I never knew Miss Jerry's mom. That was Miss Jerry who told me that story. Miss Jerry, those of you who listened the last few days, she's the sister of the woman my uncle tried to kill in my very first car. You know the one where the story where I was telling you that he said he was just trying to scare her, but I walked to where he said he was standing, and I'm looking at two holes in the goddamn window from a 22 long rifle with a headrest right behind him. You know what saved Loretta's life? It was the fact that the 22 bullets didn't penetrate the front windshield. That's why Loretta's still alive. It's weird, you know. Slowly, as my uncles became felons, my grandpa ended up with all of their guns. He ended up with my Uncle Matt's gun collection, my Uncle James's gun collection. Matt and James aren't even his. They're not even his kids. But he ended up with their gun collections because they became felons. He also ended up with my Uncle Greg's gun collection because my Uncle Greg tried to kill Loretta. Now, these people have severe psychological programs, severe psychological problems, many of them. A lot of them, their psychological issues that they are unable or unwilling to see another human being as a human being. We teach girls to be uncaring. If you remain ignorant, it makes it okay. If you want to assault me, you literally have to go out of your way not to look at evidence in order to do that. The police pulled a lot of fucked up tricks in order to prevent me from turning in their officers, like lolotai. The fact that I've been speaking out about that son of a bitch since before he did these things to all of these other people in Boulder. But meanwhile, you can't bring my name up. You can say that you're going to help me, but then, like, look at the case with Darren O'Connor. He didn't give a fuck about anybody except for the colored folks. Pretends that he's gonna help us. He's lifting himself up on the homeless platform, and then when he can actually do something, he ignores the actual homeless. There's a lot of homeless people in Boulder who are not happy with Darren O'Connor. They're starting to realize that he's completely full of shit. It's unfortunate that he's our voice. It is unfortunate that the Daily Camera and other news agencies in Colorado will listen to a non-homeless person who lies to the fucking homeless people. They'll listen to him. They'll print what he says. This is somebody who is fucking ignorant. He's never been homeless. People want to get pissed off because I recorded them. Shit, motherfucker. You had plenty of time to come forward on your own before I fucking exposed your dumb ass. You do not get to play victim after the bullshit that you pulled. Well, I guess you do because you are. But I'm not going to fucking let that slide. I'm not, because I can't. If I let that slide, I got to deal with it again tomorrow and the next day and the next day. My mental health is deteriorating because I can't see my loved ones, and because anybody who fucking wants to at any point in time can do anything that they want to me and just call me mentally ill, and magically it's okay. If I'm coming to you about my predators in a situation that I was there for and you weren't, you don't have the right to tell me what fucking happened. You don't have the right to cut me off and make excuses for my goddamn predators. You weren't there. Oh yeah, that doesn't work. Oh, the C worked. So it does still take me to Clearview Behavioral Health. Let's see. Colorado shuts down Clearview Behavioral Health Monday. Will seek to revoke license permanently. That was 1 month ago. This is Tony Kovaleski. This is the son of a bitch who, well, he can tell everybody else's goddamn story, but not mine. Then again, those other people whose stories who he gave a shit about weren't homeless. Sammy Leon Lawrence wasn't homeless. Zayd Atkinson wasn't homeless. Michelle Rodriguez was homeless at the time. But unlike me, she had help getting into housing, had help with getting a lawyer. She had positive attention for her situation, where I was pegged as some sort of super psycho serial killer fucking rapist. Do you know how people treat you when that's going on? Why the hell wouldn't people assault me and threaten my life, given the situation? You painted me as some sort of goddamn nut job who's running around raping little girls. Now, how is that narrative proper when that supposedly little girl was a grown-ass adult? How is that proper when I'm the one actually being victimized? What, you expect me to say thank you when I'm fucking assaulted, you fucking idiots? You're out of your goddamn minds. Then these people keep telling me, well, why don't you ask Dallas? I did. I did. I did. If you keep making that suggestion, it's not going to change the fact that when I ask, he's too depressed. He is always too depressed. I have to understand that. But do you understand that with me? Do you? Do you? When he's overwhelmed, he's allowed to be overwhelmed. I see the shit that he's got to go through, the bullshit that he is going through, the hoops that he is jumping through. Yeah, I can't see that going on and not feel bad for the guy. I'm a fucking human being. But at the same time, that's one of the tests these son of a bitches do to see if they can railroad you or not. Is anyone there in person? Is there anybody in person who is going to help you? If you can't help me because you're depressed, I understand that. When you are so depressed that you can't get off the fucking couch, I understand that. I am that every single day. What is the fucking purpose? Why am I getting up every day just to be abused for another day? Oh yeah, because I have to. I don't have the luxury of my own place. You know, when Natalie disappeared, my dad could have done something pretty much right away. So could my mother. Matter of fact, my mother was trying to do something. She was trying to convince the police that I killed Natalie. Of course, that would work out in her benefit. I've been telling you all what a fucked up bitch she is for years. A lot of these people, I was in a desperate situation. I had to believe because I didn't have any reason to have any hope at any point in time through this. And every time somebody told me that they would help me how I needed, I get that little ray of hope. I say, yeah, Sean, I'll do that. There's a time limit, so I need you to hurry. Yeah, Sean, I understand that. And then they're busy twiddling their thumbs. I got to deal with Joshua Eichelberger going, if you buy me some beer, I'll leave you alone. I'm just high strung because fucking I need to get some beer into me, so on and so forth. When that son of a bitch was abusing Sydney, not Sydney as in Sydney, Nebraska or Sydney, Australia, but Tabby's daughter Sydney. Yeah, Joshua Eichelberger assaulted her on the fucking stairs. That's not fucking acceptable. Sydney is more than likely an adult now, so I'm not afraid of saying her name. So here's the thing. A lot of people did good things for me. They did help me, but they never came forward about it, which means that they didn't help me. Because without you coming forward, it's my word versus Lolotai's. It's my word versus Officer French's. It is my word versus Officer Steinman's. Without you coming forward about these predators, I'm fucked. They can do anything they want to me just by calling me mentally ill. For me, I've been in enough fucked up situations that when you're depressed and you're in a fucked up situation, yeah, I can identify with it. And if you tell me your story, I can put myself in your shoes. I can close my eyes and listen to what it is you're saying. And I can take myself back to a time in my life where I had to experience that or something similar. Most of y'all remember things emotionally. The problem is that I got too many emotional triggers now. The longer it went unchecked, the more abuse that I had to endure. The more I was treated like a monster for being different, the less hope I had. All these people who weren't there for the situation, but hated me over slander, I was never allowed to defend myself again. While they're doing all this shit, my friends are promising to help. I'm investing all of the fucking money that I got coming in. That before Natalie died, I was trying to save that money so that I could get some goddamn property, so that I wouldn't be abused anymore, so I didn't have to depend on people like Cindy Taylor at Low Income Here, or drug dealing pieces of shit like Ken Wilson and Leah Plunkett. These people promised to help me, and then when it all comes down to it, they didn't want to help me. They wanted to abuse and use the fuck out of me for the resources that I had. And it's not a lot. Ken and Leah stole my money before Natalie died. And not having that money, I couldn't even go to a court date if I fucking wanted to, because I couldn't fucking afford it. And then there's the fact that you give me that stuff 6 days before I'm supposed to have court. You don't explain to me shit about it. I'm completely fucking confused by this piece of paper in Boulder, because here's the thing. None of this shit happened in Boulder. None of the shit that they were pretending that I was stalking them, none of it happened in fucking Boulder. Matter of fact, none of it happened in Broomfield. Their harassment was from Broomfield. Tim Beeson, that happened in Broomfield. When I tried to turn in Tim Beeson in fucking Broomfield, what happened? That's right. Not a goddamn thing. Natalie's actually fucking predators. Actual predators. While she's pretending like me doing what her and her sister fucking asked means that I'm a goddamn predator. Hold on a second. You asked me to do that shit, you dumb bitch. Y'all fucking idiots. They don't speak ill of the dead. Fuck you. I'm a Jew. I am not going to say good shit about fucking Hitler. I'm not going to make excuses like I think that what Hitler did is so fucking K, because it's not. Meanwhile, what color is waylon lolotai? See, Darren O'Connor, in his magnanimous stupidity, got it in his head that this officer, waylon lolotai, who is darker than his victims, must have assaulted these brown people and black people because of the color of their skin. Waylon lolotai is darker than Zaid Atkinson, Sammy Leon Lawrence IV, and Michelle Rodriguez. When it all came down to it with Michelle Rodriguez, did she win based on the homeless thing? No, she actually won because she got into housing and people actually gave a shit. Nobody gives a fuck when you're homeless. Those of you who get a lot of fucking help from your families forgive you even when you do incredibly fucked up shit to them and to others. And your family loves you enough that they will destroy your fucking victim for you so that you don't get in trouble for the shit that you did. Let's look up another one here. Dying for help, a mental health crisis in Clearview. Copy link address. Let's post that son of a bitch up here. There's a reason that I posted up here. I've tried taking it in person to show the fucking cops. They refuse. They say I got to do it across the computer. But you know what? When I do it across the computer, they say they can't see it and I got to come in person. Then I go in person and it turns out that they just want to fucking hurt me for telling on them. Your fucking advice is bullshit. As a disabled person, I am the most vulnerable person in America, and you guys want to use that to pretend that I deserve the punishment, that I chose to be victimized. Are you out of your goddamn mind? You want to pretend that I cursed and called names because Natalie wouldn't touch my dick. Hey, I called Maddie Boa a cunt too. Is that because she didn't touch my dick? I called Tim Beeson a piece of shit for a reason. He did the fucked up shit that you guys want to pretend that I did. And it's open and shut. I was being victimized without ever a day in court. And every time that I went to court, and I went to every single goddamn court date, mind you, These son of a bitches refuse to do their goddamn job. They refuse to believe for even a moment that I could ever possibly be a victim. All of the laws that I have broken, it is legal to break those laws. That is right. If my life and limb and my family's life and limb is at risk, is at jeopardy, and the cops will not do a goddamn thing, but they can break the law to protect my goddamn predators, there's a major goddamn issue here. All of these people, all across the board, got away with doing these things by calling me mentally ill. Meanwhile, those who pretended to fucking care repeatedly lied to me, stabbed me in the goddamn back, and then tell me it's my fault that they did it. Brandon Ratner doesn't treat me like it's my fault that he didn't keep his word. He tells me about his family. He tells me about his brother. He tells me about his business. He tells me all of these things that are his reasons that he didn't keep his word. Not that he didn't want to. And you go back and you look through his reasons now, but then back in the time when it was going on, different fucking story. Like when Brandon took me to that hotel, that the La Quinta, that I eventually tried to kill myself in, because Brandon left fucking immediately. He dropped me off there because there's this girl with a kid that he had a big crush on, and he wanted to fucking try to hook up with her, and it didn't work. You know, a week later, he's venting to me because it didn't work out. I'm like, fuck. Well, you know, I needed your help, and chasing vagina was more important. And sure, he doesn't see it that way. He's a hopeless romantic, you know. He's saying to himself, you know, this might be the one. This might be the one. But he says that with every woman. He's a hopeless romantic. But also, he's used to getting kicked by little women. Veronica Randall is fucking, she's short. She's also fucking pretty shitty. If she don't get what she wants, she does that American goddamn princess thing, and this is his ex. This is the same woman who, after I hurt my back and couldn't get onto a bike, was stuck behind the fucking Cheesecake Factory. She's wanting to do good things to help me. I'm telling her what help I need, but we're doing it in text because she apparently doesn't understand that every text message eats up $50. You know, I can communicate a lot faster in talking, and so can you. And neither one of us are going to take things as fucking out of context as you're doing, fucking Veronica. She wanted, I'm like, hey, this is what I need help with. She's like, well, I want to help you with your taxes. Thank you, Veronica. That is very nice of you. But you're hounding me to do something that I'm not capable of doing. At this point, I don't have a fucking address to have that shit for my taxes sent to me. Because you're wanting to do my taxes, and because you're hounding me about it, I'm going to the Cheesecake Factory every day and I'm saying, hey, can I get my W-2s? Can I get a copy of my W-2s, please? Well, you got to come back when Jesse's here. When's Jesse coming back? But Veronica's not there to see any of that, so I must not be making any effort. So it's okay for her to treat me completely like fucking shit. I'm like, hey, stop. Please stop. Fucking call and listen to me. And then she wanted to treat me like shit about this bike that Brandon and Veronica gave me. I was fucking thankful for the goddamn bike. I couldn't get on the bike because my back was fucked up. But she didn't care. She wanted to treat me like shit because I wasn't riding that goddamn bike around town. I can't, Veronica. No matter how much you treat me like shit, because I'm not riding that goddamn bike, I can't get on the goddamn thing. Stop being a fucking cunt to me because I can't do what you want. Meanwhile, Brandon knew that this situation was going on. He knew I was fucking telling the truth. He could have come forward about that at any fucking point in time, but he's busy chasing tail. Now, there's a lot of other stuff that I can understand. I can understand why when his brother disappeared, being as his brother is highly schizophrenic, and his brother, unlike me, is prone to violent outbursts, pulling knives on people and fucking flipping out of his goddamn gourd. But you know what? That's mostly dependent on the goddamn medication they're feeding him. If you have chased 6 different women and 6 different women are your excuse for not keeping your word, you're not with any of those women. None of those women wanted you, Brandon. You're not a piece of shit. Move on. Those women use you because you will move them to Texas. You will move them to fucking South Dakota. Actually, I'm the one who did that. But that's the thing, Brandon, is you're getting used by these women same as I was. You're being used because you're a good dude. They will string you on until they get what they want, and then they're fucking done with you, Brandon. Until they want free shit again because they're princesses. And they play on that thing that you grew up with where a man is supposed to do this and a man is supposed to do that. And look where it's gotten you, Brandon. I'm not mad at you for wanting to be loved. I'd love to be loved as well. That would be fucking great. But I can't see my loved ones, including you, Brandon, because you didn't take the time to do what it is that you said you were going to do. You didn't go to court with me. Not until Wyoming. Almost 2.5 years after all this shit started. See, that's the thing that pisses me off about Brandon is that night at the La Quinta, I really, really could have used him helping me. Actually looking at what was going on. I needed to be protected at that point. Protected from fucking cops. Cops who I had been trying to turn in this shit to. They didn't want to see it. They didn't want to look. Any excuse not to look. They had their scapegoat and they fucking rode with it. Then when it turned out that, well, they were wrong and I didn't kill Natalie, they already had a bunch of trumped up goddamn charges that they made up because they wanted me to be the guy who did it. They wanted me to be the guilty person. Each one of these fucking people that I was going to in law enforcement for help. I'm going to them for help, but in their minds, they're going, oh, high profile all over the news. If I bust this guy, I become fucking famous. And you can see that when I told you that these guys, they were playing one narrative, but then they kept on smiling about it. If you really, really, truly think that I'm suicidal, why are you going to fucking laugh about it? Cops did this nationwide. See, I didn't just know this fucking bullshit and these tactics from experience. I also had a lot of friends who were in law enforcement. A lot of friends who went to school to become law enforcement. Well, they're not my friends anymore. They automatically assume that the cops are right. Brandon Jepson wanted to treat me like shit when I was telling him how the homeless are treated in Boulder. And really, it's nationwide, but Boulder is it's exceptionally Nazi. What's the difference between liberal and Nazi? There's no such thing as liberal. The laws just keep the honest person honest. For me, being an honest person didn't matter. No matter how honest I was, you didn't fucking care. You were going to hurt me anyway. And the police weren't going to look at any of it. And you tell me that I have to go to the very same police officers who are my predators to try to get help? What happened when I tried to turn in waylon lolotai? I got blown off. I got treated like shit. I got assaulted repeatedly. What do you think happens when you're pegged as some sort of a super psycho serial killer fucking rapist? What happens? And then what happens when you're not allowed to defend yourself? No matter what, you are not allowed to defend yourself. Anyone can beat you up. waylon lolotai can assault the fuck out of you, refuse to give you his badge number, and him and his buddies can all make fun of you while you're being dragged to the goddamn jail because you're trying to turn in your fucking predators. I needed help stopping the goddamn violence. Alicia Bollinger and Natalie Bollinger and Maddie Boa for a whole goddamn year before Natalie died. I had to take physical violence over and over again because they fucking lied, because they wanted to pretend that I might hurt them, because they were fucking embarrassed. They wanted to pretend that I might hurt them, and people actually harmed me over it. To this day, people harm me over it. And the cops, every fucking time, every goddamn one of these motherfuckers, from the police to the people at the Department of Health and Human Services to this place here and that place here and these people here and those people there, they all want to know if I have someone I can go to for help. Don't you have family? No, I don't. I said that at the very goddamn beginning. I don't have family. My family doesn't care. They're rapists and child molesters. No, they don't give a fuck about me. I stand up to those people. I stand up to rapists and child molesters. No, my family isn't going to lift a goddamn finger to help me. Well, I was going through hell and still am. My mom didn't give a fuck. She cared that my sister's dress was weird. That's what she cared about. She cared that she wanted normal kids. Bitch, you snorted cocaine up your head. Your whole goddamn noggin is fucked permanently, and so are your kids. Because your cocaine habit was more important than we ever were. But then, all you gotta do is run around town doing the female thing. You do something fucked up, and you want to get away with it, and you know you can get away with it because you've got a vagina. You're gonna pull the princess thing. Oh, I did something wrong to him. I better run around town and slander his name before people find out. There is not a woman in America who doesn't know that it works that way. There is not a woman in America who cannot play that game. Thank goodness, not all women do those things. They know that they can, but some of them have morality. Some of them say, yeah, I could get away with doing that, but it's evil and it's wrong, and I'm not going to do that. Those are good women. Rick Tullich typed, oh wow. Good evening, Rick. He types, blow them off and beat off. Much easier. Pretty much. But the other thing is, if you're blowing a woman off and she has really got her heart set on you being the one that has to give her attention, she'll destroy your life if you blow her off. See, that's the point here. If a woman is rejected, she is way more likely to do fucked up shit and try to destroy your life than a man is. But we ignore the tools that women use to destroy our lives. It's not wrong for them to run around town and destroy our name. It's not wrong of them to do that. When they're beating on us for 30 minutes at a time, They're allowed to do that. We are not allowed to defend ourselves against women. You have made white men into the most victimized people in America. And then you say that white men can't be victimized because we're white and because we're men. You blame us for all of the racism and sexism in the world. Are you fucking kidding me? You know, it's kind of like we all know that black kid, all of us, we all know that black kid who wants to start a fucking fight, has a chip on his goddamn shoulder. He's been listening to his family tell him his whole goddamn life that no matter what happens, it's white people's fault. We all know that kid. We all have someone like that in our lives, or someone like that who we have met. The kid who thinks that you can't be a victim because you're not black. He has had it ingrained into his brain since he was born that everything is the white man's fault. And how is it that y'all know this kid? I'm going to explain this kid to you because many of you, especially if you live in a city, have probably seen this very scenario break down right in front of you. And what's that scenario? This kid is looking for somebody to victimize. He's pissed off at the whole goddamn world because he's black. All these white people must be the reason for all of his fucking problems. So when he's trying to start a fight with somebody, he's not going to pick a white person who's twice his size and can fucking beat him piss limber. No, he's going to pick a white person who is smaller than him and likely homeless and take it out on that person and push him and shove him. And when that person doesn't want to fight, that black kid goes, call me the N-word. I dare you. I dare you. I know you want to. Call me the N-word. Call me the N-word. Call me the N-word. Call me. Fuck you, bitch. You're the fucking bully in this scenario. You are the fucking bully. And then you want to play it off like it's okay for you to be the bully. It is okay for you to be racist. It is okay for you to take it out on me because you blame white people for fucking everything. White people. Yes, that's racist right there. If Keith Steinman does something fucked up to you, it's not white people who did it. It's Keith Steinman. When you do something fucked up to me, like let me give you the example of Tim up there in Washington State. He's half Native American, half black. Is that okay? Is it okay for him to be half Native American? Yes, it is. Is it okay for him to be half black? Yes, it is. That's my personal opinion. Was it okay for me to be white? Not to Tim. Starmasia type obsession is dangerous, especially when being the one who rejected the person with the obsession. Yeah. And see, that's the thing, is that Natalie and Alicia, after the fucked up shit that they pulled, tried to pretend that I was a stalker, tried to pretend that I was obsessed, and that I was pissed off because I wasn't getting my penis touched. Just like that black kid with the call me the N-word, call me the N-word. I dare you, call me the N-word. Call me the N-word, you racist. Call me the N-word. No, motherfucker, you're the racist here. You are the racist here. Telling me that you can't be racist because you're black? That is some ignorant goddamn bullshit. It's like all this stuff. I'm sure you guys on Facebook get to see all of this man bashing that goes on all the goddamn time. You know, I have replaced the word men with women in some of those memes, posted them up, and ended up on a Facebook ban. Do I agree with the meme? No, I don't. I don't agree with it, whether it's male or female that's in it. If I say those things, those sexist things, or type those sexist things, there is a reason for it. It's not because I agree with this shit. It's because I want you to fucking understand what it fucking feels like. You're not going to understand what it feels like as long as you're making excuses. But as soon as somebody does it to you, you fucking flip your shit. The hell did you tell me that you can't provide for me? That that's not going to work, that I have to do it on my own. And did any of these people do it on their own? No. Miss Peaches, when she helped out my predators and I fucking called her ass out, what's the first thing that she did? Went whining to Raja, and magically, Miss Peaches is not responsible for Raja. Of course not. She is not responsible for him getting on my Facebook and slandering me. That is, of course, not her fault. But then again, why did he slander me? Because Miss Peaches did wrong shit. This is her baby daddy. They live together. And I get that Miss Peaches is pissed off that I recorded her talking about selling pot. All right, actually, she was talking about selling more than pot. I probably shouldn't say pot, because that right there, it really feels to me like I'm protecting my predator by just saying pot. It really feels like I'm making excuses for Miss Peaches when I just say pot. A lot of my predators were friends with each other. A lot of the people that I went to for help were friends with my predators. You know how difficult that is? Like Chelsea Worsing, shit, she could have come forward 3 goddamn years. I was hoping that she was a human being with some compassion, but no, she's selfish. I got pissed off at her. I'm like, hey, why didn't you come forward? And you know what her excuse was? It's exactly what I've been telling you for 2 years prior. She wants to be friends with Katie Whiteman. Chelsea Worsing is ugly as fucking sin externally. She is not somebody that you would look at and go, damn, not even close. She's autistic and she's not skinny. She doesn't have the supermodel look. I don't have the supermodel look. Is it okay for me to judge her? Is it okay for me to treat her like shit because she's not physically attractive to most of you according to your standards? Shit. When she called me up after Natalie died, telling me that she wanted some dick, I'm like, I can't even go to Colorado, and you're calling me up for a booty call. I'd never been a booty call before. And no, me and Chelsea never had sex. But when I was pissed off at her because she just let these people do these things because she didn't want to lose friends. She didn't do the right thing because she didn't want to lose friends. And her reason for that was what? Sean, I'm disabled. It's hard for me to make friends. I know, I got the same disability she does. What is her disability? It's called autism, assholes. Autism. Now, the other thing is, because she's not as physically attractive as Natalie, yeah, chances are pretty good that even if she did speak in court, people probably wouldn't listen to her. They would probably go, oh, well, she's mentally ill. She's got Asperger's. You want to listen to Pretty. Pretty is what you care about. Not just men, but women too. Them pretty boys, you goddamn right. She will fucking throw her vagina at him with a cannon. Shamelessly. And then shame you as if you want to have sex with her. Yeah, no, your attitude's fucking shitty. You can go fuck yourself. Starmagia typed, especially when being the one who rejected the person with the obsession. Yes, and if you guys look at all of this stuff that people tried to pretend that I was, and then you look at the messages between me and Natalie, you realize Natalie was the one who thought she was in love with me. She was the one who had a big crush on me. She was the one who was making these decisions. She was the person. She. I wouldn't have gone to Virginia if it hadn't been for Natalie requesting it. Matter of fact, even with her requesting it and me promising that I would go see her in Virginia because she wasn't going to get on the plane to Virginia unless I did so. Of course, that doesn't fit the narrative of the police. When they fucked up big. And they have made sure every step of the way that they do everything in their power to exploit the term mentally ill. Starmasia type. There's this girl I used to be friends with, but later I realized she secretly hated anyone who wasn't dark. She called all non-blacks white. She was only 8 years old at the time. Cystic gaze typed, "Hi guys." And then Rick Sanchez. There's a bunch of Rick Sanchez's. You know, Derek Apodaca, one of the sexual predators who assaulted me after Natalie died. He goes by Rick Sanchez. He's got a couple of Rick Sanchez accounts. But you look at my webpage, my Facebook. I don't have a bunch of half-naked women on there. Derek does. You look at his fucking Facebook and you see that while I am not the dude that you guys painted me out to be, my predators are for surely the people that they painted me out to be. Natalie Bollinger. Who was the one on heroin? Was it me or was it Natalie? That's right, it was Natalie. Natalie was the one on heroin, not me. And you guys accuse me of being on drugs, and magically that justifies it. Cystic gaze typed, "I like beards." So do I, and so did Natalie. Natalie wanted to grow a beard. I wish I could have given her one. The reason that I refused to cut my beard is because Natalie asked me not to. I named my beard Natalie. And those of you who want to call that obsession, no, it's determination. Natalie Bollinger deserved better, and so did I. She was trying to make her fucking predators happy. Lucky for me, I gave up on that years ago. My family is never going to love me, and I accepted that fact years ago. My family loves their drugs. They love their sex. They love their booze. They love their drama. They love their abuse. But they sure as goddamn hell don't love each other. Scott doesn't love my mom. He's a pussy-whipped bitch. My mom doesn't love Scott. She loves the fact that he's a bitch. My stepdad will bend over backwards and break himself in half to make my mom happy while she's blowing Jeff Witcher. Starmasia type, beard are pretty great, and people pleasing is exhausting. Yep. And part of people pleasing is that when you're different, you have to pretend like you're neurotypical at all points in time. And that is even more exhausting because you are people pleasing 24 hours a day so you don't get victimized. You are trying to hide your Tourette syndrome so that people don't assault you for winking at them or their girlfriend or accusing you of being on methamphetamine. So literally, I have to people please every moment of every day. I have to control this while I control this. All because you guys will assault me as if I'm a psycho because I do this. And I get it. All of your fucking movie psychos have Tourette syndrome. When you see somebody who's actually playing someone who has Tourette syndrome, they do the cursing thing. Only 30% of Tourette syndrome cases have vocal tics, and only 5% of those vocal tics have that cursing thing. And that's what you think Tourette syndrome is. But then when you write in every fucking character, like if you look up a British show called Sharp's Rifles, there's a guy there who's got Tourette syndrome. Not the cursing thing, but actual Tourette syndrome. And the guy also plays a schizophrenic. Imagine that. You mix schizophrenia with autism, and you've got yourself a hell of a villain. And of course, what's your opinion of people like that? They're rapists and murderers and they're psychos. And that's what this character on Sharp's Rifles, he plays. He plays a rapist and a fucking murderer who talks to his mom in a hat. He does this. He, when I was at the Aurora Mall, I worked with another guy who had Tourette syndrome. We're not the guys that you put out on the front line. We're your cleaning dudes. We don't want the twitcher out in public. Put the twitcher in the back with the cleaning supplies. And this guy, my twitches are this. And I used to have a lot more when I was younger. And of course, there's the wrist thing too. But for this guy, his was, oh, Jesus, fuck. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, fucking neck cramp. Oh, oh my God. And then there's the ugly thing. All the good guys look like Captain America. They're all buff. You can't be the good guy if you're tiny. That's the story of Captain America. Nerds can't be the good guys. You have to be muscle bound. You have to be buff, or you can't be the good guy. You got to be good looking, or you can't be the good guy. You got to come from a decent family, or you can't be the good guy. You have to come from money, or you can't be the good guy. It's hard to get past your assumptions when your assumptions are based on fantasy. Hollywood is fucking fantasy. What they tell you Tourette syndrome is not what Tourette syndrome is. You know, most of these writers have never, ever met an actual fucking psycho. And if they did, they wouldn't know him from anybody else. But everybody remembers the fucking weird kid from high school. Everybody remembers that weird kid that you guys bullied incessantly. And you ran around and said, he's probably going to fucking kill people someday. You know, he's probably going to pull a fucking Eric Harrison, Dylan Klebold. You keep fucking picking on him and he might. You keep shoving him into lockers and he might. The teachers keep ignoring the abuse that he's going through at your hands. Yes, he might very well walk into your school with an AK-47 and blow your goddamn head off, and rightly so. Everyone should have the right to defend themselves, especially against physical violence. If killing you is the only way to stop you from harming others, then you need to make a decision right now. Are you going to continue harming others, or do you need to be fucking shot? Your solution to people like me is to fucking shoot me. You don't like it if I suggest that very same solution for you, do you? You don't fucking like it, do you? After almost 2 years of threats and assaults over Natalie Bollinger, almost 2 years of being treated like I'm the bad guy. Why? Because that's what we teach American girls to do. You're pretty princesses. Manipulate the fuck out of others, destroy their lives, slander their names so you can get away with it. And if you're pretty, it's okay. Chelsea Worthing is not pretty. She doesn't have 300 people fucking demanding her attention. She doesn't have 1,000 people liking her fucking last selfie. Chelsea Worthing looks like a frog. No, that's not me making fun of her. That's me saying that she does have features that, yes, a great many people who are her friends say, doesn't she look like a frog? Doesn't she look like a frog? Doesn't she kind of look like a frog? Yes, she kind of looks like a frog, but at least she treats me like a human being. Oh, yeah, she doesn't, because she wants to make the people who think she's a frog happy. She is one of 3 women who have sent me nudie pictures of herself. One of them, my older brother, he was going to get married to a woman named, not Ashley Kurzmall, Angela Kurzmall. And guess what? Angela Kurzmall was the first person to ever send me nudie pictures. I was like, see, Angela, she's one of those people who grew up getting fucked. You know, for her, she tries to say thank you with sex. A lot of y'all do that. There's a lot of women who, after I moved them out of an abusive relationship, them and their kids and all their stuff, they tried to thank me with sex. No, I don't want sex. I didn't help you move to have sex, and you sure as hell don't owe me for helping you to move with sex. And if I had sex with you, I would feel as if I had done something extremely wrong. So let's just bypass the sex, okay? Starmagia type. Do you have Tourette's? Yes, I do. I was diagnosed in 1987 with Tourette syndrome. Ever since then, my life has been pretty much hell. Tourette syndrome doesn't hurt anybody. The medications that you give somebody for having Tourette syndrome do. The medications that I was on as a youth were so dangerous that I had to have a liver function test every 2 weeks. Starmagia type, because I do, but I never cursed. Mostly funny sounds and a lot of banana. Yeah, that's how they found out I had Tourette syndrome, actually. I was getting beaten up by my older brother for making a sound he didn't like. And my mom and my stepdad were completely fucking oblivious to the goddamn situation. They were too busy treating me like shit because I'm doing this for attention. I'm doing this for attention. I'm doing this for attention. Well, then it turned out that I was also doing it in my sleep. I go, and of course I can't make the sound right now because my voice is hoarse. You know what? When I was a kid, if my voice went hoarse, I would still do that, and it would bug me that I wasn't able to. It's a feeling. Once you feel the in your throat, it feels better, and you. But when you can't do that, when you can't have that feeling, like that sound that I just tried to make, if I'd have made that sound, it would have made me feel better. But the fact that I wasn't able to, it made it more frustrating. Starmagia typed. He also may commit suicide, and suddenly everyone cares. Yeah, see, that's the thing, is that when I tried to kill myself over this, nobody did care because I didn't succeed. Natalie did the fucked up shit to me, not the other way around. But people cared because she was fucking dead. And they cared while she was alive because she was pretty. The same predators who were telling her to ignore me, the very same predators who actually did these things to her, those very same predators, were they going to tell Natalie that they were threatening my life, that they were threatening my family, that they were fucking harassing me and assaulting me? Was Tim Beeson going to tell Natalie that she was doing this shit? No, and nobody fucking cared. The only way to change this is to work together. A lot of the other victims of police brutality in Colorado, they're mostly white, honestly. Police in Colorado, they don't want to, especially in Boulder, they don't want to touch a black person. If it's a black homeless person, fine, but you better make sure he's homeless first, because if he's not, you could get sued, the city could get sued, and you'll get in a lot of trouble. You can't touch minorities. You have to focus on white people. A white person you can railroad, and you're not going to get in any trouble with, well, BLM for starters. You tell me about how we owe all these black people for things that happened to black people that we didn't do, things that happened hundreds of years ago. And yes, there are still repercussions for that, but those repercussions aren't just for black people. See, them Jim Crow laws, they had to start off by making it illegal to be homeless. And why is that? Well, because we got 6 million former slaves who are now homeless. Of course, when you make a law that makes it illegal to be homeless, well, pretty soon anybody who's homeless is subject to that, regardless of color. Chain gangs were created so that the South could feel better about losing slavery. We'll just make chain gangs. We can still see the slaves still performing slave labor like we want them to. Isn't that right? There's a thing that I posted up. It's I really miss my love. I miss Brandon Ratner. I miss my older brother. I miss Mobley. I miss Christine. And I know that these people aren't perfect. I know that my brother is a drug addict. I know that Mobley thinks that God is on his side when he headsbutts 17-year-old girls. I know that Christine is going to pretend to believe in God when she wants to manipulate somebody. And I know that it's nearly always going to be over heroin or methamphetamines. There are more female addicts on the streets than there are male addicts on the streets. And there's a lot less females on the streets. There's a lot of females who they fuck up their heads permanently from long-term drug use. And then they have children with brain damage from that drug use. And then they want to get diagnosed as autistic because now they have brain damage from years of using those drugs. But they're not autistic. They want that title. It means something to them. They want that title of autistic because then they can say, hey, I'm autistic, not a junkie. No, you're a junkie. I'm autistic. Big fucking difference. You have brain damage from doing too many fucking drugs. I have autism. My autistic traits didn't start showing up at 30 fucking years old. Most of these women that I know that got diagnosed later in life, they are drug addicts. They're still drug addicts to this day, but they're drug addicts with a title that they can use to justify their twisted fucking manipulative bullshit. But that makes it bad for those of us who actually are autistic. Your autistic traits didn't show up until years and years of massive quantities of drugs that you put into your own system. And then you want to blame men. Well, this guy gave it to me, or my ex was giving it to me. He made me take it. I have been in so many situations where women fucking will beg for drugs, offer sex for drugs, and then later on say that it was forced into them. No, you were looking for the drugs. You went there looking for the drugs. And when you got busted with the drugs, you didn't want to get in fucking trouble. Now, does that mean that every woman out there who's been diagnosed as autistic is a fucking druggie? No, it doesn't. But we are seeing a growing trend of women doing these horrible things and then trying to be able to hide behind this. They do all these drugs and destroy these men's lives, but they're the victim because they were able to get this diagnosis. Meanwhile, those who are actually autistic are actually being victimized. And we're the ones getting treated like we're the ones that are on drugs while you're the one doing drugs. Now, that is not to say that nobody out there who is a male and homeless is on drugs. All right. 25%, 26%, I think, but let's just round it. About 75% of homeless people are not addicts. We have maybe a 10% ratio of people here in this town that aren't addicted to something. 40%, between 40 and 60% of the residents in any town in the western Nebraska panhandle, between 40 and 60% of them are alcoholics. 40 to 60%. That is a higher rate of addiction just among alcoholics in this town than there is among all drug addictions in the homeless community. But you don't want to hear that, do you? Let's see. Star Magia typed, it's sad how everyone screams for equality, but what many want is to punish all whites that didn't have anything to do with what happened in the past. Star Magia typed, and man. And you're right. You are right, Star. I'd like to say that I disagree. I would love to say that I disagree with that. I would love to say that my observations in my life show that what you just typed are bullshit, but the fact is that I can't. I know it's not bullshit. I've seen it with my own two eyes. And that's the difference between somebody who has been there and has that experience and somebody who gets their information from CNN and everything they know about black people comes from Boys in the Hood. If everything you guys know about black people comes from gangsta rap, most black folks ain't gangstas. But I'm going to read that again because there's something that I want to add to it. Star Magia typed, it's sad how everyone screams for equality, but what many want is to punish all whites. It's funny how people scream for equality, but then they don't treat others equally. I hear a lot of women screaming that they want equality, and I agree. I want women to be treated equal to me, but I also want to be treated equal to a woman. If a woman can go in and slander my name and cops will harm me over it, but I can't go in and show actual evidence of what they've been doing to me, there's a big fucking issue here. I didn't ask to be born with a penis. I didn't ask for your shitty assumptions. I didn't ask for drug addicts like Danica Garner to pretend like they have autism. She's not autistic. Not even fucking close. If you want a man to go harm people, every woman in America knows that if she's pretty, all she's got to do is spread her legs. Hey, I'll let you fuck me if you beat up Sean. Boy, am I glad that most of these women have bigger fucking fish to fry. When you do something fucked up, you just call the man a predator. You lie about him and he's getting assaulted, just stick to your lie. Just stick to it. It'll be fine. You're a female. You'll get away with it. Mandy Singer, you can hear that in her conversations with me. See, that's something most of y'all didn't notice. Over the last 3 years, I've been getting a hold of those witnesses that the cops should have gotten a hold of. I've been recording their conversations and I've been putting it up. They should have come forward. They didn't. So I recorded it and I posted it up for the world to see. This is what America truly is. It's a nasty place. Somebody messaged me. That must have been way earlier. Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I follow you on YouTube and comment on some of your live chats. Just new to this Facebook thing. Wanted to follow you on here too. Oh yeah, that doesn't work. I have to use this. You see that? I've had to do this for like almost a week now with this right here as my keyboard, and I still keep trying to use that one. All right. You guys hear that dinging? I'm sure that's. This doesn't have a very good USB. It's just a cheap little $10 fucking keyboard. So the keyboard connection where it plugs into the USB is pretty loose. A lot of people, they said that they would help me, but the problem is that they don't. They don't do shit. They make empty promises and then they just ignore me. Rob Gavigan was gonna get a hold of my story and he was gonna contact me and listen to me. He made that thing 5 months ago and he hasn't kept his word since. You know how I found out that Rob Gavigan's channel existed? There was apparently some people who were listening to his channel that, well, they didn't really care what the moral of the story was. They heard enough to go, oh, well, we're going to fucking harass Sean over it. I got like 5 death threats in one day. I'm like, somebody must have made a new fucking YouTube thing about Natalie. Bet you it's about me. But sure enough, I got on there. Pretty much the whole goddamn thing was about me. He said he wanted to get my side. 5 months, he hasn't made any efforts. Zero. Zero efforts to actually do that. I sent him a bunch of stuff, and I don't want to overwhelm him. So I got to wait for him to get back a hold of me and let me know when he's gone through all that stuff. But after 5 months, it's pretty obvious he's not gonna. There are more interesting stories, aren't there? No, there's not. In this case, fact is stranger than fiction. How strange is it that an entire population can turn a blind eye to this shit? How is it that we've got a situation where two people can be assaulted by the cops, one of them white and one of them black? The black one gets support from BLM, and the white one is told that it's his fault. We've got victims going at each other's throats instead of going after the cops. We've got victims arguing over who's the bigger victim, who's the best victim, who is more victimized, and y'all aren't helping each other out. You're helping out your predator. A lot of these people pretended that they cared, pretended they were going to help me, but then they couldn't take the time to listen to me, but they could take the time to listen to my predators. Miss Peaches wanted to throw a tantrum because, well, the things that she told me that I had been telling you guys that she was saying for years by the time I fucking popped that shit out there. Miss Peaches can be as pissed off as she wants. She's the one who lied. She's the one who did wrong things repeatedly. I was manipulated into these situations. And they were able to manipulate my decency as a human being to try to paint me as a bad person. That situation at Candace Bondurant, Michael Beard and Rochelle Shelley Campbell played on my decency, played on the fear of Ted, a fear that all of the Bollingers, sorry, none of the Bollingers, Rochelle Shelley Campbell, Danica Garner, and Rose M. Kelly, as well as Alicia and Natalie Bollinger, so I guess two Bollingers, all told me what a terrible person that Ted is. Most of them before Natalie died. Miss Shelley, she had been talking about how terrible a person Ted was while I was in Virginia on the phone with Natalie and Alicia on our way to the pagoda in Norfolk. I didn't know the pagoda existed. So you can pretend that I was stalking them. You can pretend that I forced them to go to the pagoda. You can pretend that that picture that I took was because I was stalking them, stealing pictures off of their profile. You can pretend that, but it doesn't make it true. I took that picture. Then the other thing, the picture that I drew for Natalie's mother while I was in Virginia to say thank you for bringing Natalie into this world. That picture, when the media wanted to paint me as a bad guy, they pretended that I drew that picture after I left Virginia because I am obsessed with Natalie, blah, blah, fucking blah. No, that was a gift for her mother. Natalie asked me to draw a picture of her. She sent me pictures of her to draw. But then again, that doesn't fit your narrative of hate. So you just ignore it, just like the cops did. Anything that doesn't fit your narrative, you fucking ignore. And anybody who's different, you punish for being different. And you tell them they deserve it for being different. They should try harder to be normal. Let's see. Starmagia typed, I've been trying to reach out to you on Facebook as well. I don't know how to find you though. I'll show you how to find me. We'll go to my Facebook and I'll go to Sean. Let's see. Open link in new tab, open link in new window, open link in incognito window, send to TCL phone, save link as, copy link address. Then go to live streaming. Oh shit. All right, so if the thing takes more than 200 characters, it won't post it up, and this one has 557 characters in the thing. I suppose maybe this will work. It might try to take you to my profile, and it might try to log you in as me, so I don't know. It's facebook.com/Sean.Schwartz.10/. All right, apparently I have to press the delete button 557 times to do that. Oh, I can't just hold the backspace button either. All right, actually, let's right click it, select all, and then backspace. Yes! Let's see. Paste, entrée. All right. He should have kept his word. I agree. Is Brandon Ratner a bad person for wanting to be loved? No, I want to be loved too. He's allowed to pursue it, though. You know, I don't want a girlfriend. I want 2 St. Bernards and a Yorkie for my feet. And then I want you all to leave me the hell alone. I'd like to die in peace. These people made bad assumptions and destroyed my future over it. And then people want to come on here and give me suggestions as if I never thought of it. After 4 goddamn years of this, and you guys, many of you, you come on after 5 minutes fucking snooping, and all of a sudden you think you know everything that it's going to take to fix all of this. And you spout advice at me that you, well, in some fucking goddamn fantasy world somewhere that might work, but it doesn't work in this one. Elizabeth's line is typed, you can tell a lot about a person if they keep their word. You know, for years and years and years and years and years, I kept my word. It was when I hurt my back and all of that slander come down on me that I wasn't able to even take care of myself. And when I gave my word, I intended on keeping it. When I gave my word, people had told me that they would help me with those things. So giving my word before, I wouldn't have given my word based on what somebody else said they were going to do. Because 90% of the time, they're not going to do shit. They're just talking out their ass. I didn't put my eggs in one basket. When Natalie disappeared, all of those people who had blown me off before Natalie died, I tried to get a hold of all of them. Like, hey, the least you can do is admit that I was trying to get help. But no, they blew me off. And they also didn't want to admit that they had blown me off over and over and over again in the past. When I was trying to tell them what was going on, they couldn't stop talking long enough to even hear what I was saying. Then let's say your boyfriend decides to assault me, right? You know your boyfriend is in the wrong, but you're going to take his side. Is that my fault? Is it? Really? And then you tell me that I have to understand. Really? Did you make any effort to understand me? See, I went to a lot of people for help before Natalie was killed. Actual help. All of the help that people are like, well, you should have done this, you should have done that. Well, excuse me, says I, but I did all those things. You need therapy. I had 3 therapists before Natalie died. 3. You know, you should have just gone to the police. I did go to the police. You see how Scott DaCosta, 4 years later, 4 years after the first time that these goddamn pigs dragged me to a fucking hospital, instead of do something about my predators and take a goddamn report, 4 years later, I still have to deal with those goddamn predators. The predators that I was originally after in this town are cops who didn't do their jobs. And what did Scott DaCosta do? He abused his position to cover for those son of a bitches. He abused his position to have me harmed repeatedly. He used his position to make it his word versus mine. And he played the mentally ill tag just like every other fucking pig in America. Cops aren't taught to go after criminals. They're taught who to victimize. Who can I victimize to make some money for myself, for the judges, for the DAs, and for the public pretenders? If I victimize a homeless person, it's a shoe-in. We automatically win. Woohoo, I'm a hero. I got rid of an evil fucking hobo. And we released 8 fucking child molesters to make sure that we got that hobo. Because going after an actual child molester takes a lot of time and a lot of money. And you really don't care if you can't just open and shut it. Isn't that right? Ted Bollinger, rapes his own fucking daughter, and I'm the one who's treated like a rapist. I let Natalie know what was going on. I also let her know that I would retaliate if she didn't come forward and tell the fucking truth. And I did retaliate with her words. I took that email that she sent me in 2016 about how fucked up her mom is and how fucked up her dad is. And even her mother, Rochelle Shelley Campbell, how fucked up she is. These people want to pretend like I'm a bad person for posting it on the internet. Bitch, you did everything in your power to prevent me from showing it in court. I'm going to defend myself. I still get on Natalie's page and post up evidence. I still get on Natalie's page and I post up the proof that I'm telling the truth. They say, you need to stop stalking a dead girl. Hey, I'm not here to stalk a dead girl. I'm aware that Natalie is fucking dead. I am here for justice for Natalie and myself. I am trying to stop the abuse, just like I was trying to stop the abuse in October of 2016. But you don't want to hear that, do you? A woman can do anything that she wants to a man, anything that she wants, and get away with it. She doesn't have to have any evidence. If there was no crime committed by that man, but that woman committed crimes, they will ignore that man and allow that woman and her friends to continually harm him until he is literally screaming for death. I didn't start off begging for death. I started off asking nicely for these people to put a fucking stop to this. How many times do I need to ask you nicely to stop fucking hitting me before it's okay for me to hit you back? The mentally ill label makes it so that it is never okay for me to hit you back, and it is always okay for you to hit me. Because no matter what, you say I must be lying because I'm mentally ill. I must be schizophrenic because I'm mentally ill. Meanwhile, the people who I am pissed off at allowed that narrative to continue, knowing I was being fucking assaulted, knowing that those things were not the truth. In 3 goddamn years, Brandon Ratner has yet to write down word fucking one. I've written to the courts. I've written to the public pretenders. I've written to all of these places that you tell me to write to. I've called all these places that you tell me to call. And I tell you all of the roadblocks in my place. And I show you the roadblocks. But rather than look at the roadblocks, you tell me I'm making excuses. Starmagia typed it worked. Thank you. I'd like to die in peace too. You deserve more credit for what you did. I'd say even more than Jesus Christ. Pardon my non-Christian comment. Yeah, I didn't see Jesus passing out blankets either. I love the Jesus. Good goddamn story. If I think of the Jesus as a man, then his lessons are important. And I can think of him as a good man. But if I think of him as a deity who's allowing all of this shit to happen, I absolutely hate the son of a bitch. I don't see Jesus as the son of God because I see Christians using that as an excuse for harming others. No, I'm not going to jump in with that rat slot. When Natalie and her family lie outright, and the general public is harming me over this, when they lie outright to the police, and the police are harming me over this, and you call me a narc for telling on my fucking predators, you're what's wrong with this world. Did you bother calling her a narc? How can she be a narc? Narc is short for narcotics. She was the one on narcotics, not me. She was the one selling narcotics by her own admission. Same thing with Maddie Boa, by her own admission and by their records. That's right. Maddie Boa planned the trip to go to Virginia with me. With me. But how the hell am I supposed to be able to stop the violence? I have to look over my shoulder everywhere I fucking go. I have to be afraid of police officers. And you say, oh, Sean, you're bitch. You're not black. You're not black. There's this one dude. I said, hey, Laron, were you assaulted over 400 times? Were you? I was assaulted over 400 times by the time I turned 18. Most of it for the color of my skin. And I asked Laron, I said, hey, you keep spouting all this BLM stuff. I get it. I do. You're black. You've been taught that everything that happens wrong in your life is because you're black. Because everybody hates you because you're black. All white people hate you because you're black. White people, white people, white people, white people. I get it. When I asked Laron, Marion Faust, when I asked him if he'd been in 400 fights in his life, his reply was, I'm black. Yeah, Laron, I seriously doubt that you've been in 400 fights in your life. I seriously doubt that you've had 400 people scream racial slurs at you in your life. But that doesn't mean that you're a bad guy. The fact that you want to hide behind the color of your skin is pretty fucked, though. Like, yeah, somebody's been through hell, but you just say, I'm black, and magically it's okay. It ain't okay. Why is it okay for you to do that? Because you're black? Why is it okay for you to do something that I can't? Because you're black? That's racism. I still defend black people. I'm still friends with black people. I got friends who are white too, and I'll defend them as well. If you're going to be racist towards whites, I'm going to call your bitch ass out. If you're going to be racist toward blacks, I'm going to call your bitch ass out. If you're going to blame everything on men, I'm going to call your bitch ass out. And if you're going to blame everything on women, I'm going to call your bitch ass out. And in a lot of those cases, it's by showing what a goddamn hypocrite you are. You type all that fucking man-hating bullshit, I replace one fucking word in it, and your fucking panties are fucking shat. I don't wear panties anymore. I used to, but I'm a big boy now. I go commando. The other thing is, I'm one of the few guys I know who's not afraid to wear a fucking dress. I'm not a cross dresser. I'm not a homosexual. I'm not a transmission. You laughed. I knew you was gonna laugh. Starmasia typed, I have to go now. See you, Sean. Take care. Bye, everyone. Be safe, Star. In the last few nights, you guys coming on here and actually typing with me, that does help me. It does help. This is, since Natalie died, this is one of the few times where I've had more people showing support and listening to me than I've had trolls. I want to thank you guys for listening to me. I wish that I hadn't been cut off right at the beginning, and I could have shown the truth before they snuffed it. I've been doing a lot of stuff. You know what a red flag is, right? all these people say, hey, you know, you can't do this or the police will red flag you or the FBI will red flag you. I've spent the last year and a half red flagging the fuck out of myself. All of these things that you say, hey, if you do this, you'll get red flagged. You know, they probably have you on a list, Sean. They probably have you on a list, Sean. They probably do. I mean, I don't just break the law and brag about it. That's not what breaking the law is about. I don't break the law because I want to go bragging about it. I break the law because I have to defend myself. I break the law to show the hypocrisy of it. How every time that I went in, they told me, oh, that's not against the law. That's not against the law. That's not against the law. We can't do anything. We can't do anything. Wrong jurisdiction, wrong jurisdiction. But sure enough, the other way around, them rules, they changed them. They'd tell me, all right, you have to talk to these people. And I'd go talk to those people. And they'd say, you got to talk to these people. They'd say, hey, you gotta make a written report. So I make a written report. I go in to take in my written report, and they won't take my written report. It's not on official police fucking parchment. Well, holy shit. Then I got people that actually did write stuff, but they didn't write it on official police parchment. They didn't write it to the police, and they sure as hell didn't go in with me to make sure that the police took it. Each one of these people who claimed that they went in by themselves. I can't verify that they went in. And I asked these people, you can see in our conversations that are on this very YouTube, I asked them what officer, what was the name of the officer, when was it, where's the report? They claim that none of these people did any of these things. Brandon Ratner says that he did. The cops say that he didn't. Miss Peaches said that she did. The cops said that she didn't. Who am I supposed to believe? Am I supposed to believe Brandon or am I supposed to believe the cops? Of course I'm going to believe Brandon. I was there for the situations. But the other thing is that I am too understanding. See, if Brandon, instead of being busy chasing tail that night, and I get it, you know, this woman's got a kid and he is a very fatherly type person. You know, it's probably something similar to with me and Jamie. I mean, eventually you give more of a shit about the kid, especially when she's playing fucked up head games. But what we were going to do that night, what I was hoping for, what I needed, was for him to take just one night out of his time to actually help me now when it makes a difference. And you know, we never got that opportunity again. To this day, we haven't had that opportunity. And you know, a lot of the stuff that he's almost complaining about, like 10 days of horseback riding with his family. Oh my God. How many of you guys have ever gone on a 10-day vacation with your family? How many of you have ever complained about horseback riding? He says, I don't have the time. I don't have the time. Well, if you don't have the time, the least you could have done is notify the courts and my public pretenders and tell them that. It's 3 years later, Brandon. 3 years of you were gonna. 3 years of you not writing anything down. And after 3 years, you tell me you've got writer's block. Someone named Flamey here typed, how you going, bro? Not too good. And Flamey typed, horseback riding is fun. It was. I only been horseback riding 3 times in my life. And I can't get on a horse anymore. My back is too fucked. A lot of people, they had this opinion in their head of if they ignore my disabilities, it makes everything okay. Like if they ignore the fact that I literally cannot run away from danger. I can't. But you tell me, oh, you should have just run away. That's great fucking advice for somebody who can run. It's not such good advice for somebody whose back is fucked up, who's got 2 injured legs, due to bad fucking cops like waylon lolotai. Waylon lolotai tried to wrench my leg out of fucking socket. Blamey type, do you have Patreon? Don't know how to spell it, lol. No, I don't. You know, a lot of people have these ideas of stuff that I should do, and I have made efforts to do these things, but I can't overwhelm myself. You know, people say, do you have Patreon? Do you have this? Do you have that? No, I don't. I do have PayPal now. Finally, I've actually had it for years, but I couldn't get back into it. The first thing that I forget when I'm stressed is names and numbers. I have to reset my password probably 2 or 3 times a week. I lock myself out of stuff because I don't remember my password. I don't remember my password because there is much more important shit going on, like defending myself. Then again, I need my password to be able to defend myself. Catch 22, right? And I told these police officers this: the only way that the police could get away with what they were doing is to prevent me from showing anything in court. And they did that. They also had a lot of help. I tried to turn in that judge, Judge Fatzinger, because his mistake resulted in me being harmed. According to that paperwork, Natalie's address was never supposed to be on there. And that right there is a matter of public safety. That wasn't my mistake that was made. I wasn't the one who put that address there. And I sure as hell wasn't the one who pretended that some dude was stalking Natalie at an address that turned out wasn't even hers. According to Danica Garner, that is Natalie's grandmother's address on the Bollinger side. And then went and pretend like I was a bad person. You're showing our addresses on the fucking internet. Bitch, I'm showing the truth on the internet. The fact that out of 500 words, 10 of those words were specifically about you, and now you want to treat me like shit because 10 of those words were about you? Those were Natalie's words. You want to be pissed off about that? Be pissed off at Natalie. To this day, I got to look over my shoulder because I was never allowed to face my accusers. I was never allowed my constitutional rights. Police knew what they were doing wrong, but they decided upon my guilt and refused to look at any evidence that did not fit their bias. See, here's the thing, is that police are human beings too. Putting on a badge doesn't make them magically the good guy. When you take a bad person and you put a badge on them, they're still a bad person. Of course, when you take a good person and you put a badge on them, they're now the bad guy, automatically. Why is that? Because the moment you put on that badge, you are enforcing immoral laws. Yeah, no, I'm not on your fucking side. Even the nicest fucking cop that you know will yank a homeless person off the fucking park bench for sleeping. Even the nicest cop that you know will victimize a homeless person for using a goddamn blanket. The nicest cop that you know sees a college kid pissing in an alley. That kid could have pissed in the bar that he was in the bathroom. He's allowed. That homeless dude, they don't even want him in the bar because he looks fucking homeless. So that homeless dude has to pee in the alley. But that police officer, when he sees that college kid, it's $100 fine. That college kid doesn't even have to show up to court. He just pays $100 and it's over with. $100 urinating in public ticket. But that homeless person gets busted taking a piss in that exact same place at the exact same fucking time of night. We're talking 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And you're being charged as a sexual predator as if you were exposing yourself in broad daylight to children at fucking school. Sure, it's illegal to pee in public if you're a college kid, but it's more illegal if you're homeless because they're not even going to charge you with the same thing. You're homeless, so you must be a sexual predator. They're a college kid, so they must be a good, decent, and honest person because mommy and daddy can put them through school. Most of those kids that see you aren't paying their tuition. They're not. They're paying parts of it. And a lot of you guys, you're like, why don't you go to school? A lot of people are like, man, you should go to college to become an artist. I'm already an artist. I don't do art anymore. I don't have any motivation to do art anymore. What the fuck did I ever get out of doing artwork? Then nobody cares about anything about me except the fact that I can draw. Brandy Herb, for years, like she was like, will you draw pictures of my kids? Will you draw pictures of my kids? Yeah, I'll draw the pictures of your kids. You're one of the few people that pays me. Candace isn't going to pay me for artwork. Jeremiah Jensen isn't going to pay me for artwork. They expect this shit for free. They expect that I spend hours and hours and hours and hours doing these things and that I should have to do it for absolutely nothing. I owe it to them to do it for absolutely nothing, despite the fact that they told me they would pay me for it. But no, you want it for free. You want to make a deal with me, and when I've fulfilled my end of the bargain, you don't fulfill yours. And then you treat me like I am the devil because you did me wrong and I actually said something instead of just laying down and take it. See, that's the thing with predators and players. They'll try to manipulate it so that they're the only ones who are heard. I'm not going to shut up. I am not going to shut up. You will literally have to kill me to shut me up. Scott DaCosta will literally have to shoot me in order to prevent me from pursuing this shit in court. Scott DaCosta deserves prison. See, he showed his bullshit when he let my predators go. Scott DaCosta knew every step of the way that I was trying to turn in his officers. And he abused his power and his position, same as his officers did. Um, let's see. Flamey typed, always forget that shit. Are you still homeless, bro? Yeah, I am. Actually, not really. This thing is about 5 foot by 5 foot. This is my house. This is my house for the next 6 months. It is paid up. This 5 foot by 5 foot shack that's, well, it's got seams all over the place. The breeze comes through. I tried taping them up. But this is my house for the next 6 months. This is what I have. I spent a lot of money trying to make people happy. If I buy this, will you help me? No, I don't want that. I don't want it. I don't want that. I don't. want to spend all of my money on a bunch of shit that I don't fucking need that money and able to help me to have a future. It needs to help me to get a place where I won't be victimized. But you guys have all these ideas that do not include the reality of the situation. I don't have a guardian. And without that, people can do whatever they want to me and get away with it. They can gang up on me 5-on-1. And because it's just me, they get away with it. Because you're not there to see it, they get away with it. When I have to go in and talk to the police, you know what? For all that time, both before and after Natalie died, all of that time that I spent believing people who promised that they would help me, all of that time that I spent jumping through their hoops, all that time doing what it is that they were telling me that I had to do to get their help. And I'm doing those things and they're not fucking helping. That whole time I'm being victimized while waiting on them to keep their word because I don't have the rights that they do and I don't have the rights that you do. Play me type, when you do have have time, make something, dude, so we can send you some coin. You know what's fucked up about that? If you guys send me money, then they take that out of my disability. They claim that I'm not as disabled as I claim to be because you guys send me money. Or because you guys help me by sending me money so that I can actually take care of this shit, that I don't need government help. The government's help is to put stipulations on me that prevent me from having the money to defend myself, that prevent me from having a place to defend myself. I got Brandon Ratner is supposed to come up here in the next week and help me. And my friend Ventus is supposed to, hopefully, he'll be able to come up here with him. But I'm not going to put any stock in Brandon showing up. Chances are pretty good that something's going to happen. You know, some of it I can understand. His brother disappeared and he needed to find his brother. And I helped him find his brother, and his brother was found safely. It didn't take me 3 years to do that. If it had taken me 3 years to do that, and his brother had ended up dead because I didn't make an effort, I'd probably feel pretty bad. Wouldn't you? Wouldn't you feel bad if someone was being harmed because you didn't do shit? Because you took your dear, sweet, fucking goddamn time? A lot of people kept on telling me to be patient. No, there is a statute of limitations. Patience is the wrong thing to do. You tell me to be patient. When you were telling me to be patient, what you were telling me is to take the abuse. That is literally all you were telling me at that point. This abuse continues until you do something. And you tell me to be patient with a time limit over my fucking head and predators at my fucking back. Blame me typed WTF, that's fucked. That isn't fair. And I know it's not fair. You know, here's the thing about Scott DaCosta. You know, people want to say, life's not fair, life's not fair, life's not fair. And what did Scott DaCosta do when I treated him the way I was treated? That's not fair. Really, Scott DaCosta? You got away with your crimes scot fucking free because of your position. Because you and your fucking deputies manipulated and contorted the goddamn truth. Because to this day, you have not, even though you have acknowledged that yes, that situation in January of 2017 did happen. You have had over a year where you were going to look into that, Scott DaCosta. After over a year, I still don't have the name of that officer. You are omitting information. Scott DaCosta, what you're doing is a goddamn felony and you know it. God bless America, though, right? Now, these things in the background here, these aren't even real guns. This one fires Nerf darts. Of course, because those are in the background, I get people who type stuff to me like, what the fuck? Why do they allow you to have those? They're fucking plastic, dude. Just like when I was being threatened with real guns. The Bollingers and the police did everything they could to prevent me from going to court, to illegally prevent me from going to court. They went through the motions to prevent me from having an honest day in court, to prevent me from defending myself. And all of this happened because of bitches like Brandon Ratner, people who promised but never followed through. People who, when they had an issue, wanted my help, and I helped out immediately. But when I need their help, I got to put up with 3 years of fucking excuses. Brandon ain't a bad dude, but he's fucking dumb. Just like Graham. I don't hate Brandon. I need his help. The help that I need from him is for him to tell the fucking truth. He says he's gonna, and he says that he has. He says that he talked to these police stations. If that's true, then that needs to be brought up in court. All of my court dates, literally every one of my court dates, can be redone because of the officers committing the crimes that they committed. But it takes somebody like Brandon Ratner to fucking show the goddamn fuck up and say something when it makes a fucking difference. Instead of throwing shit at me that he did years later. Yes, Brandon, I know you went to Wyoming with me. And I am thankful for that. I am thankful that you spent the money in your gas guzzler to come up here and get me and to take me there. I am thankful for the money that you gave me so that I could get the hell out of that situation in California and hopefully get somewhere safe to Brett Roloff. I understand that you didn't know that Brett was on fucking meth. Neither did I. But throwing that in my face doesn't make up for the fact that when it made a difference, when you should have fucking said something, when you should have fucking spoken up. You wanted to chase some vagina. You can't find the time to write it down or tell the truth because you're overwhelmed by family vacations. And I agree with you, Brandon. Even though your brother's schizophrenic, that doesn't make it okay the way they treated him. I understand the family comes first. But if in 3 years' time you're telling somebody that you care about them and they're telling you that they're being abused because you're not coming forward, these people are abusing me because I have no protection from them. And you're making excuses like chasing tail is something that I'm supposed to understand. No, I don't understand it. I do not forgive you for that, Brandon. At least 4 women since Veronica Randall did that shit to you. Yes, Veronica did you wrong. But at least 4 women since all this shit happened. 4 different women. Pursuing them was more important than telling the truth. You drove that woman and all of her stuff all the way to Texas because you thought you stood a chance with her. Because she pretended like you might stand a chance. And after you got her and all of her stuff dropped off in Texas, she don't want to be your boyfriend. That sucks, Brandon, but that's not my fault. I'm being abused because you're busy chasing tail. I don't hate you, Brandon. I need you to fucking keep your word. 3 goddamn years of writer's block. 3 goddamn years of you can't, you're too busy, you're too busy, you're too busy. If these things that you're saying that you can't do, you can't come and tell the truth. You can't do these things because you're too busy. The least you can fucking do is write that to the goddamn court. You're not pegged as mentally ill, Brandon. And you know, people treat me like shit. If they even believe that I might find a woman attractive, then I get treated like shit. And you expect me to understand. No, Brandon, I don't understand. I don't understand why you have such a cush goddamn life by comparison. I don't understand why I'm being abused as if I'm some sort of goddamn sexual predator for trying to get help. Well, I'm being treated like I'm just after Nookie. And you can't tell the truth knowing that I'm being abused. Years of abuse. And you can't come forward with the truth in court. You can't write it down. Yes, I recorded that and I put it on YouTube. And yes, Brandon Ratner is aware that he's been recorded and put on my YouTube. He's aware of that. Most of these people are. Shit, when my predators, when they find out that I'm talking about somebody on the fucking media here, what do? They go to that person and say, hey, Sean's talking shit. Did you send them the hundreds of times where I said the things that they did good for me? No, you didn't. You're predators. You're not going to show them that. Of course, they didn't want to see it anyway. They didn't want to hear it anyway. They were too busy blowing smoke up my ass and fucking selling drugs. Brandon wasn't selling drugs. Veronica did. Quite a few, actually. Flamey type, so America will screw you over even if it's a donation? Yes. Yes, they will. Um, I'm gonna try to find my PayPal maybe, and try to put that up. Maybe you guys could send me something. I don't know. See, here's the thing: is that I needed that money for my disability when it would make a difference. And then after they have done everything in their power to fucking destroy my life, they want to dump all of that money on me. I still don't have an advocate. All of this money, I have to depend on people to help me. I can't help myself. I'm not fucking allowed. I don't have the credit to make this money do anything. I can't get a goddamn bank account. All of these situations where you got these great ideas where you say, hey, Sean, just get a bank account. Like it's that fucking easy. It's not. Especially after the fucking bullshit that I've had to go through with these banks. My dad, he swore up and down, even though we had an issue with him being a piece of shit, he said that he was going to pay my vehicle insurance. That way I had vehicle insurance. What I needed his help with was getting my money back so that I could pay for my own insurance. But he didn't want to help me with that because he can't throw that in my face. He can't say, oh, Sean, I gave you money for this. And that conversation with him is actually here on YouTube. Conversation with me and my dad where he's telling me that even though he's being a fucking complete piece of shit to me, he says that he paid my car bill, my insurance, and that, what was it he was telling me exactly? He paid the bill for my insurance, and there was an extra $16 charge, and he was going to pay that too. And then he blocked me. He wouldn't communicate with me. I didn't have the ability to do any of the shit that I was being asked to. I'm being victimized in fucking Cheyenne, Wyoming at this point. And that's when I find out that I don't have a bank account anymore because my dad didn't keep his word. I couldn't have done those things for myself. There was no way I was going to be able to do those things for myself. I had to believe that my dad told me the truth when he said that he paid that shit. And then there's those of you who want to treat me like shit because I didn't pay it myself. I would have loved to. I'm disabled. My disability money was taken away from me to prevent me from using it to fucking defend myself. Michael Johnson sent me a happy Thanksgiving thing, a thumbs up, and the word love you. And I'm going to reply back, kill me. Help me or fucking kill me. I don't want to hear you tell me you love me. If you're not going to help me, you don't love me. If you only remember I exist on fucking holidays, yeah, I should be happy that you remembered me on a holiday. You don't give a fuck about me the rest of the year. If you loved me, then you would want to do something to stop this. Is Michael Johnson a bad person? No, he's not. Help me or fucking kill me, for Christ's fucking sake. It doesn't matter how much money you throw at the situation. I can't do anything with it. I can't defend myself. I am wasting all of my money to make a bunch of other goddamn people happy. Sean, you need this, and you need that. You need to buy this, and you need to buy that. You need this, and this, and this, and this, and this. You need all of this shit. I'm spending the money on all of this shit. If I get this shit, you'll help me, right? I bought this shit. Help me. I jumped through your goddamn hoops. Help me. I don't hate Brandon. I hate the fact that I've gone through 4 years of goddamn excuses because he hasn't come forward yet. Claims that he did. I want to see the evidence. The courts want to see the fucking evidence, Brandon. You telling me doesn't prove to me that you did it. I want to believe that you did that, Brandon. Just like I want to believe that Alyssa Rainwater showed up to one of my court dates. I didn't see Alyssa Rainwater. I didn't see Alyssa Rainwater at that court date. Do you know why? Because they fucking canceled my court date. Now, maybe she was there and maybe she wasn't. But that's the thing, is that because these people don't see my efforts, it must mean that I didn't make them. I must be lying because they weren't there to see it. When I treat them equally, they don't fucking like it. I didn't see you show up to my court date, Alyssa Rainwater. I didn't see you show up on the 18th and wait for me all night. I didn't see that happen. Now, if you're going to tell me those things happen, if you're actually telling the truth, you should have no problems telling that to the police. If I have to break the law to show the truth, I'm going to. If I have to break the law to defend myself, I'm going to. If you tell me it's illegal for me to have a sword to defend myself because of the term mentally ill, and I've got people threatening my life with guns, fuck your goddamn bullshit. I'm getting a goddamn sword. And no, a sword ain't gonna do me any goddamn good in a fucking knife fight. Actually, it would, wouldn't it? But it's not a knife fight. We don't live in the medieval fucking ages. We sure as hell act like it. But that sword ain't gonna do a goddamn bit of good against a gun. Now is it? I'm not allowed to have guns, so I refuse to have guns. I'm doing the legal thing and the right thing there in that situation, aren't I? But are my predators doing that? Ted Bollinger's not allowed to have a gun. He's a felon. A violent felon. Not somebody who is pegged as violent like me. Somebody who is actually fucking violent. I'm gonna try to find out what my information is as far as my PayPal goes, and hopefully y'all will be able to do something with it. Let's see. DHHS, do not reply ad, correspondence notified. Ah, apparently Department of Health and Human Services got something to say. Come on, load up. Correspondence notification, Department of Health and Human Services, State of Nebraska. This message is being sent by the State of Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. This email is to advise you that you have correspondence available to you via My Account Benefit Inquiry. This notice may require action on your part. Sorry, I gotta scroll back quite a ways to get to the part about the PayPal. Throwing money at it though, that's only a temporary band-aid. I need people's words. I need people to speak up. I need these witnesses to stop being cowards. Steam support, Google security alert, PayPal, annual error resolution notice. That's not it. The more stuff that you put on my plate, the more overwhelmed I am. The more overwhelmed I am, the more I shut down. The more I shut down, the less I am capable of doing. What I needed is for the abuse and the violence to stop long enough for me to fucking protect myself. I need a safe place in January of 2018. A safe place where I wasn't subject to being victimized everywhere that I fucking went because I was homeless. My predators used Natalie's death in order to get away with the crimes that they committed, like Ken and Leah. And no matter what, police weren't going to do their goddamn jobs unless one of these fucking cowards actually kept their word. Cowards like Jace Jepson. Now, Brandon Ratner, one of these people might get a hold of him and say, hey, Brandon, Sean was talking shit. No, I'm not talking shit. I'm telling the fucking truth. Brandon should have come forward. To this day, he has not come forward. He has made plenty of promises that he will. You can hear in those conversations between him and I, him saying that he will. Is it my fault he didn't keep his word? Is it my fault that after 3 years, he still has not kept his word? Well, I went to Wyoming. Yeah, and I said thank you for that. I am thankful for that. You know, when I got kicked out of the shop because of Josh Hughes, I was paying Brandon Ratner for a Chevy S10. That's a pickup truck. I'd already given him $200. But then when Josh got us kicked out, Like I was literally $100 short of buying myself an S10 pickup for my birthday. And Josh got us kicked out. But you know what? I didn't ask for that money back. Brandon came and helped me move. He helped me move my stuff out of that shop. He helped me move it to that storage facility, and that's when I hurt my back. See, I had all these great plans, these great ideas. You know, I figured, hell, this stuff's only going to be in storage a few months. I'm a fucking badass, and I'm a good goddamn worker. I had a job at Stone Lighting at the time. But then when I hurt my back, and how did I hurt my back? I hurt my back moving out of that shop. I let Brandon keep that $200 because I needed help moving all that stuff. They wanted a total of $900 for that Chevy S10. They had 200 of it, so I only needed to come up with how much more? That's right, I had to come up with 700, and I had 600, and that was the day before my birthday. And all of it got spent because Josh couldn't keep his word. I spent all of that money getting that storage facility. Spent all of my money paying people to help, and most of my helpers were fucking shit. There was 6 of us holding on to that gun lathe. 5 of them let it go. I had the end that you couldn't let go of, and I still have back problems from it. That's the reason I can't fucking run. Brandon Ratner was there for that. Now, I didn't realize how severely fucked up my back was that day. I knew that it was a hurting son of a bitch. But it was the next day when I couldn't move that I realized how fucked I was. I told true stories. And when I recorded these conversations with these witnesses, they verified that these stories I was actually telling the truth about. These stories that the police refused to hear. Brandon claimed that he got a hold of 3 different departments. Prove it, Brandon. I can't go into a court of law based off of just your bullshit. And it is bullshit at this point. If it wasn't bullshit, you'd have kept your goddamn word. I can't go into the courts and say, Brandon Ratner said. No, Brandon Ratner has to fucking say it. I can't say, Brandon Ratner told me. No, you have to fucking write it down and fucking document it. And you have to show up. Because I'm not allowed to show it. They will say I'm mentally ill and deny me that fucking right. I hope Brandon shows up this week. I hope he keeps his word. See, all these people, when I tell them, hey, what you did caused me harm. Brandon, you not coming forward for 3 goddamn years caused me harm. And I know you're going to do something stupid like Shannon Alvarado and throw it in my face that you took me to Wyoming. I sent you $200, Brandon, recently to try to pay you back. That way I don't have to listen to you complain that you spent money on me. That money made no difference without your words. And if you'd have fucking kept your word, if you'd have spoken out when this first fucking happened, I wouldn't have needed that money. I would have had my own money. I would have had my disability money that I could try to do something with. But I didn't have that disability money. It was taken away from me because people like you were busy making excuses, and to this day are busy making excuses. Brandon, I love you, but stop making fucking excuses. Stop going horseback riding and pretending like it's some big goddamn imposition. If 10 days of horseback riding and camping with your family is that much hell, don't fucking go. When, Brandon? See, all of this stuff is on YouTube and Facebook. Why is it on YouTube and Facebook? Because I'm not allowed to take it to the courts. You have to do it. They did everything that they could to try to twist, contort, and manipulate these things so that they could magically justify the shit that they were fucking doing. And all it would have taken is one goddamn person to not be full of shit. I'm still going through abuse because you still haven't come forward. And I'm not allowed to say that to you because you're going to throw it in my face that you drove me to fucking Wyoming. I'm glad you drove me to Wyoming, Brandon. I am thankful for that. I'm pissed because you're still being a bitch. You are still chasing tail rather than telling the truth. You are still making excuses. I want to believe that you're going to show up, Brandon, but chances are pretty good that there's either going to be a vagina that you have to chase or somebody else that is not in anywhere near the same position as I am. Someone who takes advantage of you and is never going to make any effort to pay you back. And you can't make the time in 3 goddamn years to tell the truth. I am within my rights to be pissed off at you. Just like I am well within my rights to be pissed off at Natalie. When somebody is being fucking harmed and you do nothing, yeah, you're just as responsible for it. When you promise that you're going to help and somebody is being abused over and over and over again while you're busy smoking pot and chasing tail, whether you're a male or a female, doesn't matter. The fact is, at this point, it's been 3 goddamn years. No, I don't fucking believe you're gonna. With all these people, all these alcoholics and drunks and druggies, and Brandon's not one of them. With these alcoholics, drunks, and druggies, they did the same shit. And I'm not allowed to say anything about their alcoholism or how it affects me. I'm not allowed to say how I feel, but I am expected to listen to you tell me how you feel. I don't have the rights that you do, but you want to keep on throwing shit at me as if I do. I have 10,000 different things that I have to do, and I can't do a single goddamn one. I am still trying to come up with the goddamn resources that I had when Natalie fucking died. You'll do everything except for the help that I fucking need. They're not gonna listen to me. You throwing money at me as a temporary goddamn bandage isn't going to make them listen to me. You getting off your ass and stop making excuses like a bitch after 3 goddamn years. That's what makes a fucking difference. You don't get to use driving me to Wyoming to justify you not doing the right thing 3 goddamn years ago. No, you driving me to Wyoming does not make up for 3 goddamn years of abuse because you're a bitch. It doesn't make up for 3 goddamn years of abuse because you wanted to chase tail. You say you care about me, and I say I care about you, and I say I care about your brother. When your brother went missing, I helped immediately. I didn't take 3 goddamn years and 50,000 goddamn excuses. I am victimized because ultimately, when it comes down to it, nobody actually cares. All of these people who are fucking witnesses want to say, well, I can't help. I'm not an attorney. Bitch, you're a motherfucking witness. I'm not asking you to be my fucking attorney. I'm asking you to tell the truth. Is it that goddamn complicated? Merry goddamn Christmas.